that what you're arguing here?
And I just want to address you correctly. What's your name?
I mean, you just came on my show. You don't know my name? My name's Anna.
I don't actually. I thought I was talking to Cenk. What's your name?
My name is Anna.
Anna, good. No, we're gonna be chatting for a while. I just wanted to address you conversationally.
Should have prepared for the interview ahead of time.
Well, Anna, you guys invited me on your show. I'm making some time for you guys. I'm happy to have the open debate. Let's get some facts actually straight here.
I thought you were detail oriented. I don't know. It's just you're the one.
You are making. I didn't mean that as a personal affront, Anna. I promise you, and I'm looking forward to getting into substance with you.
Hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel, guys. How is it possible that even one person in our country is still so detached from reality that after everything they've seen, 13 dead soldiers in Afghanistan surrender, wars popping up all over the freaking world, millions and millions and millions of people entering our country at the southern border, home rates are now at 8%, labor strikes all over the country, never gonna end, and inflation is damn near killing the poor. How is it possible that still the most frightening thing to some of these people is a Donald Trump presidency? I mean, guys, there is no doubt that Trump Derangement Syndrome is a very, very real and terrifying thing. It is absolutely, it has to go into a future DSM manual. It has to go in there. They cannot avoid it. And I just can't believe how honestly disconnected from real reality that people are, man. And a perfect example of this is a video of Viic Ramaswamy engaging with a voter who I think was a plant, but a voter who honestly has a textbook case of TDS. And she's going to unleash this TDS on Vivek and claiming that he's not qualified to be president because, well, Trump. He's not qualified because Trump.
Mr. Ramaswamy, thank you. You've expressed some illogical and dangerous positions just about everything under the sun. But I will only bring up a few points today.
Okay. Just be respectful of everyone, but we'll pick your favorite ones. Thank you.
Just a few years ago, we all saw firsthand the disastrous results when a ruthless capitalist, a scam artist, a showman, and a liar with no public service experience became the president of the United States. And yet we are here again. My fellow New Hampshire residents are being manipulated by showmen and Trump wannabes to win our votes. Mr. Ramaswamy, you may be a millionaire, and you may know how to avoid paying taxes by incorporating companies in Bermuda, but let's talk about your lack of job qualifications. You're not qualified to become the principal of my children's school of only 1,000 students. You're not qualified to be the select board of my town with a population of 16,000 people. And you're definitely not qualified to run for the highest office of our nation to govern 330 million Americans. Spewing nonsensical, fast-talking, empty words, interspersed with name-dropping Thomas Jefferson and George Washington, should not be misconstrued as knowledgeable. We Americans should stop thinking that rich men who fund their campaigns and manipulate us into thinking that they're smart or savvy are qualified for the presidency, to receive the codes to launch nuclear weapons, and to become the commander-in-chief of our military forces. Yes, it's coming. Mr. Ramaswamy, if we American voters, thank you, it's coming.
We'll let her finish. We'll give her a chance to finish.
Thank you.
Mr. Answer the question mark, though.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, you will. Yeah. If we American voters keep supporting self-promoting showmen who treat the US presidency or vice presidency as an entry-level position, then we, the American people, are to blame for the destruction of our democratic institutions. Please, your thoughts, Don.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, guys, let me know in the comments your initial gut reaction to this poor woman, to this question, and to the absolute, complete, and total snow jobs that people have really done on themselves. People really do believe somehow, some way, that the people who are beholden to the system and all of the unconstitutional, unchallenged, and most of the time unknown, levers of forces that control these people, that control this system, they believe that those people are to be trusted. And the people that have been in Washington for, I don't know, an example of Joe Biden, 60 years, bitching about the problems the entire time, causing even more problems, and fixing not one. Those are the people who can be trusted with, in her words, our democratic institutions. But a business guy, an outsider who dares to stand on his own, needs to be feared, has to be feared. Guys, just listen to yourselves, people. As you have these thoughts, you've got to hear the words that are coming out of your mouths. It just doesn't make any real sense. No matter how eloquently you say it, it doesn't make sense. I mean, who is this woman? Is she ignorant to the actual realities that we all face? Or does she just not care? I'm guessing she doesn't care. Honestly, things are great from her, so it's virtue signal time. But, we have a lifetime elected official right now that is an absolute disaster. And I honestly hope that Vivek points that out.
I appreciate that.
Before you answer,
I want to answer that, yeah.
I know you want to answer, and I want you to answer. But everyone, remember, everyone's in here at the same time. You can make your point, but get to the question first. Yeah. Try to? Okay.
And hard questions are welcome. Just end them with the question mark is all I say. So here's what I will say. What do I hear embedded in that question? There's a fundamental skepticism of somebody who comes from outside and take as an entry-level job. That was what was in your question, which I think is a valid criticism. An entry-level job to be the US president. Let me just share with you one of my learnings in this campaign. We have an imperfect system right now, and you all face imperfect choices in that system. We were talking about this backstage. What was the #1 learning for me? This is a super PAC puppet game.
Facts.
It's my #1 learning coming in from the outside. You're told that candidates actually run campaigns that you fund by giving $35 contributions. Nonsense. The system is funded by not multimillionaires, multi-billionaires who use politicians in both parties, Democrat and Republican Party, as their puppets. The super PACs are a cancer on our system. So if you want to break that system, and I'll tell you, it's a law of nature. It's like a law of physics. As the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, every politician dances to the tune of their biggest donor. It's just a fact.
So yeah, I mean, that is absolutely undeniable. There is nothing anyone can possibly say that could even come close to debunking that. Even the crazies that whine and complain about the special interests they don't like the NRA, for example, buying politicians, they don't even think to deny that the medical lobby or big pharma aren't buying up even more of them from both sides. And guys, just look at her face as he's answering this. She at least seems reasonable enough to admit, with her eyes at least, that the man is making a ton of sense. And here's the thing, we get so caught up with this whole eat the rich mentality that the left has permeated through our culture, that we're afraid of the actual rich guy who controls himself because he's just an evil rich guy. But they will give full-throated support to the politicians who are either controlled by some other faceless, even more rich, even more evil guys, or even worse, the politicians that become evil rich guys themselves, all while they're making 147 grand or 174 grand a year working for us. Make that make sense.
Now, in my case, it is true that biggest donor is me. Now, do I want a system in which only people who have had the level of success that I've had in the world of business and the American dream are the ones who are able to run for president? No. But is that better than a system where it's somebody else's billionaire puppet that's on that debate stage that actually is just uttering words handed to them by a billionaire-provided super PAC? Yes, I think that's better.
Yeah, so there's that. I mean, that's pretty perfectly put. Perfect example, the old saying, honestly, better the devil you know than the devil you don't, right? At least with the guy funding himself, you can at least start out by believing, what they're saying without really looking and feeling like a complete and total fool, at least immediately, when you find out that they were actually controlled by this or that special interest.
And I think if we're going to address the corruption in Washington, D.C., the corruption of people, and there are other candidates in this race that fit this description, making millions of dollars off of connections in government service, afterwards, lobbying in a career using government connections. This is corruption that exists in both parties. Then yes, I do think it will take an outsider to that system coming in to break that system. One of the things that I think we need to stop apologizing for in this country is the power of capitalism. I have succeeded not in government, and I will not feign having government experience that I don't have. But the people who do have government experience, in some ways, got us into the mess that we're in today. So I think we live in a moment where it will take an outsider. Someone who comes from the outside, ideally even someone who comes from the next generation, to reach the next generation, of whom we have so many in this room today. I think it will take somebody whose best days, I hope, are still yet ahead in life, to see a country whose best days are still yet ahead in life. And I'm not name dropping when I mention Thomas Jefferson. These are people I look up to as our founding fathers. He was 33 years old when he wrote the Declaration of Independence. I'm an old man by comparison. He invented the swivel chair while he was at it. That's the founding spirit we need to revive in this country. And in this particular moment, yes, I do think it will take an outsider to do it. Yes, I do think it will take an outsider to address our national debt. $33 trillion. We need a CEO in the White House. How does a CEO run a business? How have I run the businesses I've run? Zero-based budgeting. Don't start with last year's budget as the baseline, because last year's budget was broken by the same existing political class. And last year's budget was based on the previous year's budget, which was equally broken by the same corrupt special interest system. So I say break that system. Start with zero as the baseline, and then ask what's actually necessary. You're not going to get that type of leadership from somebody who comes from, I think, within that broken system. So you're right, you do face a choice. As I shared with Nancy earlier, if you want somebody who's going to incrementally reform the bureaucracy, and the administrative state, I'm not your candidate. If you want somebody who has government experience as their qualification to be your next president, then I'm not your candidate. But if you want somebody who comes from the outside, a patriot who speaks the truth, uncaptured by the super PACs, willing to get in there and actually gut that shadow government, the corrupt swamp in Washington, D.C., but actually see the job through, as a leader from a different generation to reach the next generation, then yes, I am your candidate, and that is why I'm in this race. And the beauty of this is, A, you have the right to speak your mind, as does everybody else in this room. That's what makes America beautiful. That's what makes America great. And the part that really makes our system what it is that that choice belongs to you, not to me. And I'm grateful for the opportunity you guys have given us. So, next question.
Yeah, I mean, so how do you really argue that, right? How is that possible to argue against? I mean, what really is the argument for government experience? You know, what has that experience taught them or prepared them for? You know, for the people that really are preaching this idea that that's a prerequisite, you know, they by and large, those people voted for Barack Obama. And let me know in the comments, you know, what do you guys think, you know, his brief couple of years in the Senate gave him that made him the president that he was, which the president that he was, it's a video, whole other 50 videos I can make, and I'm not going to talk about that here, but here's my belief. You know, obviously there are good people in and out of government, right? There are bad people in and out of government. There's a whole lot of bad people in government. There's no doubt about that. No one can possibly argue that. But by and large, you know, if we can all agree that our government is systemically broken, if we can all agree that our government is dysfunctional, that its priorities are really, really way out of whack, then why do we require, or why would we even want a president that has experience like that, you know? Because honestly, not all experience is valuable. But anyway, guys, that's just my take. Let me know your take in the comments. If you haven't already, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. See you in the next one.